Former Vice President, Atiku Abubakar has called on President Bola Tinubu's administration to immediately release Abubakar Salim Musa, describing his arrest as part of a growing crackdown on dissent in Nigeria. Atiku made the call in a statement issued on Monday, following a report by Amnesty International Nigeria on the arrest of the young Nigerian on Sunday, January 11, 2026. This case is yet another stark example of the repressive nature of the President Bola Tinubu administration, which continues to bear its fangs against dissent, whether expressed through public protests or online criticism, Atiku said. According to him, Musa's only offense was his persistent criticism of the worsening security situation in northern Nigeria and across the country. Abubakar's only offense was his consistent and legitimate criticism of the deteriorating security situation in northern Nigeria and across the country, he stated. Rather than engage with the concerns raised, Atiku said the government resorted to intimidation and prosecution. Instead of addressing these serious concerns, the government's response has been to arrest him and subject him to what Amnesty International rightly describes as bogus charges and a sham trial, he added. The former vice president stressed that Musa's arrest was not an isolated incident, noting that several Nigerians had suffered similar treatment for expressing dissent. Numerous Nigerians, including journalists, schoolchildren, entertainers and even NYSC members, have faced arrest, assault and intimidation simply for criticizing the president or members of his family, Atiku said. He warned that such actions pose a grave threat to Nigeria's democratic foundations. This dangerous trend undermines the very foundations of democracy, which rest on the protection of fundamental human rights and freedom of expression, he said. Atiku further argued that Nigeria's democratic credentials were being eroded by the continued repression of critics. Nigeria cannot claim to be part of the free world while its citizens are routinely arrested, assaulted and intimidated for voicing criticism of their government, he stated. With general elections approaching, Atiku cautioned against an atmosphere of fear and repression. As the nation approaches a critical general election, neither the people nor the opposition can operate effectively in an atmosphere of fear and repression, he warned. He demanded the immediate and unconditional release of Musa and others detained for exercising their constitutional rights. I call on the Tinubu administration to immediately and unconditionally release Abubakar Salim Musa and all others detained for exercising their constitutional rights, Atiku said. He also urged the government to halt arbitrary arrests and intimidation, while calling on the international community to intervene. I urge the international community, particularly countries and organizations that champion democracy and human rights, to hold the Tinubu regime accountable and demand an end to these violations, he said. Atiku concluded by calling on Nigerians and civil society groups to resist any further erosion of civil liberties. I encourage fellow patriots, civil society groups and all Nigerians of conscience to join this demand and stand firmly against any further erosion of our freedoms, he added.